Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera. So, how are you? Semua okey ke? Dekat rumah ke kat college masing-masing? So, saya harap semua okey lah kat tempat masing-masing. So, today saya akan proceed untuk video chapter 3. Tapi nota ni saya dah bagi sebelum ni kan. So, hopefully you dah baca lah. So, video ni just for you to refresh ataupun sajalah nak bagi you lebih faham lagi lah untuk this chapter. So this is on the physical injury and control. Okay, the outline. So we look on introduction to physical injury and then beberapa example of industrial punya work yang boleh lead kepada physical injury. Okay, antaranya adalah construction work, electrical work, mechanical work and also the chemical work. Okay, so dia nanti boleh baca what is the introduction to physical injury, apa definition of the physical injury lah yang didiagnose oleh medical doctor, and ada combination of this one, ada create reasonable risk of death, boleh menyebabkan permanent disfigurement, physical pain, impairment of health, and akan menyebabkan loss of protracted impairment of an organ, and also the result of the sexual abuse. Okay, the first one we will look on the construction work. So kita akan tengoklah apa regulation yang behind this construction work and apa contoh-contoh construction work. Okay, definition as per regulation. So this under construction work is under FMA punya akta, and also specifically on the building operation and works of engineering construction. Okay, so nanti you ingat lagi kan chapter 1 tu kita pernah tengok semua all the akta-akta of OSH. Okay, the statutory requirement, so lagilah antara lagi akta-akta yang tertakluk dalam construction work is Akta 1994 and then Akta 1996 and under safety and health officer, and then also we have FMA lah, and then this one macam mana saya cakap tadi specific on the FM is yang specific pada building operation and work of engineering construction. Okay, this is example of on-site activities. We have excavation, apa-apalah yang melibatkan construction, piling, concrete punya kerja, apa lagi tu. So kita ada wiring, painting, okay, handling ataupun transportation of construction material, installation of machine. So all of this is under construction punya work. Okay, so ni nanti boleh tengok apa contoh-contoh machinery tools dalam construction site. We have bending machine, cutting machine, crane, excavator, piling machine. Of course lah dia untuk lifting the employee, lifting the object, cut iron, wood and plywood, and untuk ground the hole, planting column, then lifting construction and cement transportation. So this is example machinery on construction site. So ada beberapa machine lah. Ada crane, ada excavator, ada scaffold. Okay, equipment in construction site. So the hazard on site yang selalunya adalah yang dekat construction punya work. For example, radiation, chemicals, heat stress, noise, drowning, confined space yang masuk dalam tanah kan. So this is example lah hazard yang dekat construction. Okay, types of accident in construction site. Sama ada falling from height, then lagi we have falling at same level, hit by falling object, buried under falling, okay, tanah timbus kan, ada berlaku gempa bumi and then buried under the falling structure, crush between object, stuck between object, drowning, dilanggar kenderaan, contohnya langgar crane ke kena langgar excavator ke. Okay, inhalation of toxic chemical while painting kan, masa tengah painting ke apa, ada inhale some toxic chemical, contact with moving machinery yang tersangkut tu, and then also electric shock. Okay, nanti you boleh baca lah ni apa structure collapse, inhalation of toxic, contoh-contoh dia lah, contoh-contoh dia and also faktor-faktor dia. Okay, so ada beberapa strategi. Of course lah we have to establish the safety and health committee, the control measure, kena ada formulation of policy, ada kena ada employ the safety and health officer, establish the system, increase supervision of high risk activity, and also can provide safety and health induction training for our workers. Okay.
In the US, more than 800 construction workers die every year while on the job. Falls are the #1 cause of fatalities in construction. Falls cause 1 of every 3 construction worker deaths. These
Okay.
falls happen in a split second while workers are
Okay, untuk video ni nanti saya akan attach sekali dalam bersama dengan video ni. So kalau nak tengok nanti boleh tengok. Kemudian lah, so nanti kita akan buat activity based on this video. Okay. Alright. So next is electrical work. So ni pun you banyak tahulah. Electric memang sangat penting kan. So of course lah, you have to very sangat penting dan juga sangat berbahaya actually kalau kita salah handling. Okay. Ada kesalahan while handling the electric. Jadi boleh tengok apa dia punya contoh. Electric shock, lighting. Okay, electrostatic. Okay, electrostatic pun one of the electric charge lah. Alright. Tapi jangan main-main jugalah dengan electrostatic ni. Boleh jadi spark untuk kebakaran. Okay, and the last one is fire. Okay, this is how electricity flow in the body. Macam mana? Daripada laluan dia. Okay, laluan of the electricity. Kalau daripada tangan, dia akan go to kaki lah, to earth. And then hand to hand macam mana. Hand to feet macam mana this is. And then macam mana dia, kalau you tengok dia punya garisan tu. Kalau high pain, kalau hand to feet, laluan dia tu, ni sangat sakit lah. Kalau hand to hand, from hand to hand tu sakit lah, high pain. But along from the top to bottom to earth, kalau ke feet tu dia moderate pain, tapi still lah dalam pain jugalah. Okay, so ni electric current path through body. So ada kalau hand to hand and hand contact, so dia akan lalu heart, your heart, okay, akan lalu jantung. And then hand and foot contact, so macam mana laluan dia, okay, the flow of the electricity. So be careful lah kalau you pegang something yang conducting from hand to hand. So that's very dangerous. Okay, effect dia depends on the amount of current and voltage, and then your punya body resistance, the severity of electric shock, and also duration of current flow. Alright. Okay, nanti you boleh baca this one. Effect to human, of course lah, electric shock. Ada apa lagi tadi? Okay, so this is example. Okay, bayi 6 bulan masa renjatan. So this is effect. So melecur. Ada yang internal bleeding pun ada, destruction of tissue. Okay, so nanti you boleh baca this one. Right. Okay, this is PPE when handling the electric, yang kita tahu rasa tempat tu sangat tinggi for possibility untuk you dapat electric shock. So you have to wear lah this PPE, rubber glove, the head protection, footwear yang ada mark EH. Okay, so EH is dia one of the ni lah, insulating lah. Alright. Okay, so the next is mechanical work. So this melibatkan mesin lah. Sama ada untuk move the barang ke apa ke, untuk lifting, shift, and also the transfer. Okay, so types of equipment, so anything yang melibatkan machinery. Okay, crane. Advantage of course, it will simplify work task. Bila ada machinery punya work, so kita memudahkan kita lah untuk angkat barang ataupun untuk reduce the work time, reduce worker ergonomic risk. Daripada instead of kita nak angkat barang benda berat tu dengan our hands, so when we apply the mechanical work, so dia akan memudahkan lah dan juga lebih ergonomik lah untuk siapa yang mengangkat tu, untuk benda berat lah. Okay, increase productivity and save storage space. Okay, limitation, of course it will require a competent operator of lebih lagi kalau melibatkan mesin yang besar lah, macam crane, forklift. Okay, ada certain equipment require certificate of fitness, of course, and dia perlukan regular maintenance sebab dia melibatkan machinery punya ada gear, ada some sort of screwdriver ke apa ke semua kan. So dia melibatkan benda-benda macam tu, kena selalu buat maintenance. Okay. Okay, safety. Okay, so dia depends on apa dia punya contoh of the equipment tu lah. What makes mechanical equipment dangerous? So depends. Kalau untuk force and mechanical movements, it because of the mechanical movement and forces tu lah yang boleh menyebabkan ada hazard dekat mesin tersebut. Okay, ada static force, dynamic force and also the pressure. Okay, and then cutting force. So dia depends lah macam mana you punya best procedure untuk handling that. Contoh you nak guna cutting punya machine, so make sure you clamp your job in proper manner. Dah clamp dulu ketat-ketat baru buat cutting process. Okay, so if not, benda tu akan menyebabkan inilah hazard. Okay, vibration. Okay, lagi beberapa hazard: tripping, falling object, cutting, pinch point, elevated wood surface, bump hazard, and of course a noise from the machine itself, and then slipping, licin, terlanggar apa-apa ke kan. Okay, right. Kalau you ada ingat pernah baca berita yang tentang ada yang dekat Korea pekerja Malaysian tu yang dia masuk dalam one of the dumping punya machine. Okay, dia benda tu dah stuck and then dia cuba masuk untuk ambil barang yang stuck kat dalam machine tu, and then eventually the machine works and then dah makan dia punya kaki. Okay, so this is very dangerous. So hopefully kalau you macam mesin yang simple, contoh macam mesin tebu, that is also machinery punya work kan. So kalau tersilap ataupun salah handling, tercuai ke apa, boleh makan dia punya tangan juga lah. So mechanical work ni memang banyak sikit lah hazard dia. Right. Okay, planning for safety and then how to prevent and also control method. Of course you have to put signage. Okay, now the last one is chemical work. Chemical work is under the regulation FMA, lead and asbestos process, and also mineral dust. Okay, main aspect dia lah kita akan tengok permissible level of exposure, so that dia tak melebihi amount yang dibenarkan lah. Baru bila tak melebihi daripada amount yang dibenarkan, so takkan ada hazard, the hazard will be minimized. Exposure, the monitoring, medical inspection, control method. Okay, lagi ada beberapa ni lah untuk direct contact, splashes of acid and alkali, sama ada inhalation, skin absorption, ingestion. So effect dia pun berbeza lah, depends on how you contact with that chemical. Okay, control measure, so ikut dia punya level tu lah. If you can eliminate, you boleh eliminate lah, ataupun you substitute the hazardous with less hazardous punya chemicals, and then enclose the water process and system, ataupun ada work isolation untuk elakkan lagi terdedah kepada beberapa hazard yang lain dan juga pekerja. Okay, modification of perimeter, adopting safe working procedure and also allocation of approved PPE. Okay, this is PPE yang biasa kita gunakan untuk handling the chemical punya work. Lab coat of course, safety glasses, glove and footwear. Kena pakai kasut bertutup. Okay, this is our hazard communication standard, OSHA punya standard lah. Kalau you pergi mana-mana, you pergi setengah lab ke, you pergi mana-mana lab, you have the right to know what material in the workplace, apa yang ada dalam lab tersebut. Contoh, material tu berbahaya ataupun tidak. So you can ask person in charge on that place ataupun on that laboratory. Okay, dalam lab ni ada chemical apa, bahaya ke tidak. So you have the right to know, you can ask them. And how to handle the material to protect yourself from the hazard. Okay, we have MSDS. MSDS is Material Safety Data Sheet. All the chemicals, it come with this MSDS. So kalau you nak guna chemical and then the person in charge cannot give you this MSDS, is totally wrong lah. So setiap chemical tu we have to provide the MSDS so that kita tahu benda ni bahaya ataupun tidak. Dan kalau terjadi apa-apa contact ataupun kita terkena direct contact benda chemical yang berbahaya, so kita boleh tahulah macam mana nak prevent ataupun nak bersihkan ke nak merawat from that chemical. Okay, so the general rule for handling material safety. Okay, so ni beberapa rules lah. So of course macam dalam lab tak boleh makan. Kenapa? Sebab bahaya lah. Kalau you dah terpegang chemical dan you masuk dalam perut you, kalau benda tu berbahaya, so that is one of the inhalation punya hazard lah. Okay, never eat or drink while handling. No emergency procedure to store all material properly. Okay, this is how to handling the flammable. Proper storage, macam mana nak storage the flammable liquid yang mudah meruap, dan biasanya mudah meruap ni yang vaporize punya chemicals kadang-kadang dia boleh menyebabkan kebakaran, so this is very dangerous. Okay, eye exposure, macam mana kalau skin exposure, macam mana you nak first aid dia, macam mana you nak buat. First you dah kena acid contoh, you kena buat apa, you have to know lah. Kena terus pergi basuh ke, and then don't rub your eyes ke apa semua, so you have to know. Okay, kalau inhalation macam mana, kalau tiba-tiba terhidu ke satu gas yang tak menyenangkan lah, and then you have to go out from that laboratory ataupun that place, inhale the fresh air. Okay, kalau injection pula macam mana. Okay, so itu sajalah untuk this chapter. So hopefully you boleh faham dan boleh I expect you dah baca jugalah sebelum ni. So this is just to refresh, and we have also ada activity sikit lah from the video. So nanti saya akan bagi tahu kemudian. Okay, so thank you very much. Make sure you berada kat mana-mana pun, please take care of yourself, jaga safety, because safety is our business, is everybody's business. So you kena jaga diri baik-baik kat rumah ataupun kat college mana-mana. Make sure kita tak terdedah lah dengan any of the hazard. Okay, thank you very much. See you next time.